Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update, your daily source for everything cryptocurrency markets, trading, and everything else that you could possibly imagine in the realm of cryptocurrency investing and trading. My name is Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Today is April 6th, 2022. It is a beautiful Wednesday, and I hope everybody is doing absolutely fantastic today, wherever you happen to be tuning in from, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Trovo, Twitter, or Facebook Live. Make sure to let me know how you're doing in the comments section or in the chat, wherever you happen to be. And if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe for daily updates and smash that like button. Let's get going, guys. We've got a great show for you guys today. Obviously, Bitcoin breaking down through the level of support that we had talked about yesterday, plunging down, however, as anticipated, a bearish droop, a markdown phase potentially beginning. In today's episode, we're going to go over the possibilities and the probabilities on whether or not this is just going to be a pullback in an overall markup phase of the market. That is where the market is appreciating, or if we have reached yet another local top in an overall downtrend. And now we can resume the bearish swipes of the bears once more. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, in the chat, how you guys are positioning for this, what trades you are taking. And if you're watching this post stream, of course, you can always leave a comment. I love to see what you guys have to think about the show or about your positions as well. The entire point of the show is to share alpha and share probabilities. So let's get on with the show. With that being said, a brief announcement for the premium members watching, members of the premium trading group who have access to our indicators, signals, and educational content as well. We will be doing today's mentoring session. If you guys missed the announcement, today at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, that's 3 p.m. Central and 4 p.m. Eastern. In today's mentoring session, we are going to be covering continuation trades. Specifically, we're going to be taking a deep dive into identifying profitable pullbacks when the market is trending up. This is going to be a continuation trade. So this is going to occur after we have already identified that an asset is likely trending to the upside or has just begun its trend to the upside. And maybe we've already entered into the trade. Maybe we've already taken profits, or perhaps we missed our initial entry. So this is going to be an educational seminar on how to identify those areas of the market, how to get into those areas of the market, how to manage your risk properly, and what kind of mindset you should be having. We'll also go over multiple strategies on how to actually execute on these types of trades, including the use of indicators, the use of price action, and the use of volume. All of that will be covered today. If you guys are interested, if you guys are not a premium member, interested in attending our premium seminars, you guys can find all that information at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. With that being said, let's get to the charts and break it all down for you guys today. All right, here we are in the main scene. We do have the chart of Bitcoin up here on the daily. We've got a lot going on, but don't be afraid. We're going to break it all down. We've got Chris Hinshaw, Mervyn Skidmore, Elegant, Mr. Ether, Robert Warner. We've got Loot Patient. We've got Alex81SG, B-Flow, Boris F in the chat. Good to see you guys. Thank you guys so much for attending. The mentoring session is going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is correct, sir. All right. So let's get into this. Where were we at yesterday? Let's start as we are wont to do with our top-down analysis, as we like to do on Bitcoin. We'll just point several things out. Of course, last week's weekly close was a doji candle, an indecision candle, and this occurring after we had already broken above support, or excuse me, after we had already broken above resistance that had held price down here for the course of a little over 2 months. So nice bullish impulse move. One concerning thing that I did want to point out yesterday, I don't know if I mentioned it, is that the volume on this pump, the volume on these two candles that ended up breaking resistance were not much to speak about. As we can see with the volume moving average and with the overall tilt of volume, we do see overall declining volume. Typically, we would want to see rising volume in an area of accumulation. Now, keep in mind, this is the spot market, and we do see something different when we go to look at the derivatives. However, seeing that there is less spot accumulation, that there is actually less volumetric buying here, is not the most positive sign, nor is it the most positive sign that we ended up breaking above resistance on declining volume. That is not typically what you want to see for a big breakout. Be that as it may, this is the spot market and volume can be a little confusing, or excuse me, volume can be a little deceptive on the spot market. I find that volume on the derivatives market, which is where I actually trade, is a little bit more telling. However, I do prefer to do the technical analysis on the spot charts because they tend to respect levels a little bit better than the derivatives market. So with that out of the way, we do have one possibility here, and we talked about this. This is a little bit earlier than I was expecting, but it's totally natural. We had talked about how we are looking at how all of our moving averages, we've got our 21, our 13, and our 8, how they are crossing above the 55 weekly moving average, which has, as you guys can see, also been acting as overhead resistance on all the previous pumps on Bitcoin's attempt to break out of this consolidation period right here. Now, Bitcoin has now on the weekly, and of course on all lower time frames, pulled back to that level of support. Like we are currently sitting there right now, okay? Now, keep in mind that the 55 does not have to be a perfect stopping area of price. As we can, it's a moving average, not a level of support or resistance in essence, but it does act as support and resistance on the macro scales. We can see here though, look at these wicks that travel above the 55, even though the weekly close remained below. Look at this wick that goes above the 55, even though close remained below. Look at these wicks that go, well, these wicks go slightly above, but again, overall, held back by the resistance of the 55. So just because we are at support on the weekly does not mean intraday or on the daily time frame that we can drift down lower than here and still invalidate this area as a level of support. We do need to be patient and wait for the weekly to close if we are going to be doing something like a pullback entry on the weekly. So one potential way to trade this is at the weekly close this Sunday. If we are trading above the 55 weekly moving average, you could take the opportunity to look for a pullback entry and to attempt to take that trade to the upside. So we would want to see price remain right here on weekly closing basis, and then potentially you could look for that pullback continuation trade. That's one way to do it. We're also going to go down to the daily and look at ways in which you can do that as well. Current level of support, at least here on the weekly time frame, below the 55, if the 55 is lost, is still the 100 exponential moving average. However, if we do significantly lose the 55 at this period in time, since we are in an overall decline of the market, and since we are, and again on the macro, playing out the pattern that I have mentioned ad nauseum for the past several months, which is that after Bitcoin reaches a new market high, we correct down to the weekly 55 exponential moving average, we bounce. We then correct down to the 100 weekly exponential moving average, at which point we bounce, and then we ultimately correct down to the 200 weekly simple moving average, which has historically, since 2013, been the bottom of Bitcoin's price. I do not expect this to play out any different. All right. So that is the overall narrative. So I still want traders to be prepared for a movement down here to the 200 simple moving average eventually. Doesn't have to happen now. Anything can happen. This can continue to move to the upside and hit those $52,000, $59,000 price targets before we move down. We might even make a new all-time high. That's just of probability. However, what we can say with confidence is that we have seen over and over and over again in Bitcoin's history that after we reach a cycle high, we correct down to the 200 simple moving average. After we reach a cycle high, we correct down to the 200 simple moving average. After we reach a cycle high, we correct down to the 200 simple moving average. And everything that happens in between is just trading opportunities. Okay. So pullback potential opportunity at weekly close here on the weekly time frame. Losing the weekly 55 is overall not a great sign, and we would be expecting to see lower prices. I was, of course, talking about this weekly level of support. We are currently pretty much at the bottom of it, which is why I have to say that on a weekly closing basis, we need to be basically right here. In the mid to high 43,000s. I had actually said 43.5, which is where the weekly EMA is coming in at. So anything above 43.5 on weekly closing basis, we could consider more bullish than bearish, or more markup than markdown, excuse me. And again, we can look for these $52,000, $59,000 price targets. But as I said, both in my analysis to the premium members and on the streams, I have consistently said, at least for the last week, that I am waiting to be a buyer here until this pullback happens. Now this pullback has happened, and I need to see that this is going to be support before I plunge headfirst into a long. I was able to close out a profitable Bitcoin short yesterday. Wasn't able to grab all of this movement. I believe my take profit target was a little above $45,000, a relatively smaller position. However, I did take a larger position. You guys probably saw me do that on the stream with FXS. I had talked about how, and I actually took it on Binance, but we'll look here on the daily for FXS. I have been shorting FXS for the last 2 days, and my take profit target just hit today at $30.25 for my short on FXS. So that trade is now closed. Again, the reasoning for that was relatively simple. If we zoom out here, we can just see that we reached a previous level of resistance on massive volume, and then we put in this doji candle. And then after we saw this rejection candle, I did decide to short. Price pushed back up a little bit. I did get into that position, and then price came down to my target of 30.25, which again, not doing any voodoo here. I simply did a Fibonacci extension from low to high and targeted the 61865 golden pocket. All right. Which, you know, we don't want to use all the time. However, when in cryptocurrency, when we do see a parabolic movement like this, I often find that the Fibonacci can be useful, especially if it does line up with Quadriga. Quadriga did line up. I did do all this technical analysis and charting live on the stream just several days ago. So make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss these analyses. It does seem like I'm having a bit of issues with my stream. I apologize, guys. Give me one moment to try and sort this out. Okay, that was a little odd. All right, it does seem like it's fine now. Everybody is cool. That was a little weird. Looks like we had some giga lag there. Now, I will say, I apologize. We are having some really windy conditions out here in Colorado, like 70-mile-per-hour winds. So that could potentially be causing some issues. So hopefully everything's good now. It does seem like we are back up. Apologies for that. All right. So we were just talking about FXS. I don't know if you guys missed anything there, but we're just going to go ahead and move right back on to BTC so we can get on to some trades here. BTC USD on the daily. Okay, cool. Everything's looking relatively good. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. All right, daily time frame. Again, right along there with the weekly, we can see that down here on the daily, we did reject from the 200 simple moving average. And overall, all our moving averages are still pointed up. Unfortunately, we are starting to see our faster MAs curl down just a little bit right here. We stopped trending, or excuse me, we stopped going parabolic with our moving averages right here on these 2 days began moving sideways just a little bit with a slight tilt to the upside. They are starting to curl down now. We do have the daily 55 here that can act as a potential level of support. However, again, going back to that same concept with the weekly 55. As we can see all of these wicks going above the weekly 55. So we cannot expect this to act as a perfect level of support. So for a situation like this, I'm going to go ahead and share one pullback strategy with you guys. I'm going to be covering this in a little bit more depth with the premium members today. Something that we can do when price has pulled back to what we think might be support. So let's say, for example, we know that the weekly 55, although not perfect, price goes a little bit below it sometimes, but we know that the weekly 55 tends to act as a good level of support and resistance, right? So price is currently above the weekly 55 and heading down toward it. So we are looking to expect it to act as a level of resistance. And all of this to say that we are looking for a potential entry. Droop and now issues with your stream. Didn't think that kicked in until you reached 50. Yeah, no shit. All of this to say we're looking for a potential entry, in this case, likely for a long. Okay, totally fine. Now, what we can do is we can either look for oversold conditions from our momentum oscillators. So for example, if we saw price reaching a level of support in conjunction with something like time transformation or perhaps minks, giving us an oversold signal, then we can simply wait until price begins moving up. Remember, we're trend following traders, so we do like to see price moving in the direction in which we like to trade, rather than being a pure reversal trader and assuming that the top or bottom is in. You can get into a lot of trouble trying to predict tops and bottoms in cryptocurrency. That's not the way you want to trade. The markets trend very strongly, and yes, there are going to be periods of chop where any strategy is typically not going to perform well. But if you're consistent and if you have discipline and if you implement your strategy efficiently over and over again, and it's a good strategy, it is very hard to not make money in this market. They just move so fast and they tend to be very forgiving. Okay, so we want to see price. So here's a good example, right? Here we can see an oversold signal in a buy signal from time transformation, and then price begins moving in the direction we want to trade. So anywhere around here would have been an acceptable area to enter. Now there's a little trick you can use. It's something I like to do, and it's something that I do in the lower time frames as well, and that's to switch over to a Heikin-Ashi chart. Okay, so once you don't want to just trade the Heikin-Ashi chart blindly. I know you sometimes can look at the Heikin-Ashi chart and say, well, I'll just sell on every red and buy on every green, and I guarantee you that if you do that, you are going to get chopped up faster than beef tartare in my kitchen. What you want to do is you want to have a pre-existing requirement that price has either reached a level of support or reached a level of interest for you, whether that's going to be based on volume. Maybe you're using the VPVR, or maybe, again, you're using some form of drawn horizontal support and resistance, or you're using moving averages, a Donchian, whatever it might be. But once price gets to that vicinity, then you want to look for a reaction from that level. You can do this on the primary. We are having stream issues. I apologize. Yeah, I can see it. And back. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Just super weird. It's got to be the weather out there, guys. So I apologize for the interruptions in quality. Kind of looks like we're back. Okay, excellent. As I was saying, once we reach that level of support, then we want to look for a reaction. And one of the best confirmation reactions is to look for a Heikin-Ashi candle in the color that you want to trade. So here's a good example. Let's zoom into this area of the market. We can see that the market is trending up, and then price pulls back to the 55 exponential moving average. We can see we break it. Let's actually mark this area off on the charts. Okay, and go back to regular candles. Okay, so you can see here that we seem to break above resistance, and then price pulls back. Okay, so price pulls back, And then we want to wait for this candle right here. So we go back to Heikinashi and we can buy now. We've got a reaction off of our level of support and the market is now moving back up. That's what we want to see. We want to see confirmation that the market is actually going in the direction we think it's going to go. So very similar here. Something we can do here on the daily is we can simply wait to get a nice green Heikinashi candle coming out of this area. And of course, if we don't get that in a relatively soon period of time, within a few days, then we can expect that this is not going to act as a level of support and that we could potentially consider that more downside is going to be coming into the markets. It's because you got that, Mr. Ether, it's because you're on that VIP connection. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay. So breaking that all down and in a quick synopsis here, weekly time frame, we do have the potential to establish support around $43,500. Of course, we can trade down a little bit lower than that, potentially down to the mid 41,000s, 42,000s. But we want to watch the weekly close. If we can maintain a weekly close above that level, 43.5, and remain in this level of support, following this break of resistance, then I think we can expect again that $59,000. Those $59,000 price targets. If we significantly begin to break down below 43,000 on daily closing basis and then also weekly closing basis, I'm going to be expecting at least a retest of the 100 exponential moving average. And then we're pretty much back to range trading, guys. We're pretty much back to range trading. So I don't think there's anything wrong with putting on a protective position here. I will say that it is a possibility, though, if you do short here, be prepared for the market to come back up and retest a slightly higher low, slightly lower high, excuse me, and put in somewhat of a swing failure pattern. The market moves up and then down. So just be prepared for that. And so what I'm saying is if you're putting on a short from this level, you need to have your position size such that you can set a stop loss way up here. You don't want to be setting your stop loss like really close to price. You know, you don't want to do that in cryptocurrency. Really tight stop losses get you in a lot of trouble. And in my experience, like I set asymmetric stop losses, meaning that my take profit target is closer to price than my entry price, than my stop loss. And people have given me flack about that, but that's how I've taught my students for years. And it's just the way it works, guys. It's easier. I know you have to have a higher than you do have to have a higher than average hit rate to accomplish that. But having that stop loss far enough away that the high volatility of cryptocurrency doesn't wick you out of your position before moving in your favor is just the only way to trade, as far as I know. It's the only way that I've ended up having real success. Okay, having said that, give me 1 second because I am going to I'm an expert at clicking pictures of cars. All right. What do you guys think so far about what I've just said? Do you guys agree? Are you looking at the weekly 55 as support, or are you expecting lower prices almost immediately? And we want to get epidemic sound going. So properties, this is going to be right here. All right, I've put some music on, guys. Let me know if it's too loud, too low. Yeah, want to make sure that that's not disconcerting, but I do know that music does help you guys pay attention. Christian P is looking for a short to 25,000. Nice. So you are taking the big position here. Okay. Gui is looking for a faster breakdown. DJT looks horrible, he says. AF1, welcome to the stream. Okay, all fine ideas. And you know what? I support the balls of that short to 28.25. I really do. I really do. You know, it takes big conviction to take a big position like that, right? You know, so many traders are tend to be very short-sighted and are unable to trade these big moves They limit themselves to trading really small moves, and I think they lose out a lot because of that. Conscious Criminal says nothing to see here. All the BTC support buyers at MiamiCon are getting drunk and losing their Rolexes. Yeah, it seems like it's always the case, right? That has been. Somebody asked me this yesterday. It does seem to be that every time we have the Bitcoin conference, that we have a big a dump in Bitcoin's price. And this isn't, I'm going to be honest with you guys, this isn't a huge dump. We're only down 6%. So, all right. So, market moving down. I would be hesitant entering into altcoin positions until we see that Bitcoin has stabilized here. Of course, as Bitcoin has moved down, it has taken the altcoin markets with them, at least the established ones. Of course, DeFi sometimes it does dance to the beat of a different drum. But as we can see here, just about everything down significantly. We've got Pancake Swap down 3.2, Dogecoin down after its pump yesterday. Mana, I mean, literally everything. You just throw a dart and hit a red coin here. The only things that are up a little bit, Ziliqua bucking the trend, USD Neutrino getting back to its peg. Of course, USD Neutrino significantly lost peg this week when it crashed from 98 cents all the way down to 75 cents, initiating lots of liquidations over there on the Waves ecosystem. However, the USD Neutrino has slowly and steadily been climbing its way back up to peg 93.2. So a very important lesson. And this is applicable to, I know a lot of the viewers are going to be on the Terra Luna network as well, perhaps involved with UST, as am I. And I want you guys to know that you can obviously take leverage out on, you guys are aware of this, but if you use the Luna protocol, you can take leverage out on your UST to get more UST, and you can set your liquidation price to the certain peg. And you got to be very careful, just expecting that peg to be very, very tight, right? So you want to always use a lower level for your liquidation than perhaps what you might initially think. And very similar to the what I was just talking about with stop losses, you just cannot set tight stop losses in cryptocurrency. It might work for a little bit. I know I've seen a couple of traders who use very, very high leverage and very large positions, and they set a very tight stop, very tight take profit. And I just think that that's unsustainable in the long run. I think that the hit rate that you have to have consistently over time. And I've seen a couple guys, there's a couple YouTube channels where they'll do it with like a couple $100, and that's fine. But if you've got $50,000, or even a $5,000 or $10,000 account, I think you're going to lose it very quickly trading a strategy like that. Alex81SG says the size of that red candle is nothing to worry about too much. What concerns me is how easily we blew through 3 to 4 key moving averages in less than 24 hours. Yeah, indeed. They're support until they're not support, right? Christian P says, personally, I think the move to 48,000 was just a grab of liquidity to push price further down. That's what I was planning since some weeks now, as soon as some rejection shown on the 48K and the minor time frame structure broke. So I went in with a tight stop above 48K. It's good. Jibble says, I believe we are in a similar pattern to July 29, 2018. I just believe overall we haven't seen the capitulation and desperation we saw back in 2018 yet. So we're looking for July 29th, 2018. Oh, of course. Yeah, I was there. I just had to think for a little bit. Yeah, so basically where we're looking for that more significant breakdown of the 200, some moving average, right? Yeah, exactly. That's right in line with everything I've been saying as well. Hey, Jordan Stotts. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Alex81. That's one of the safest trades. It does hurt. Yeah, I feel you, Mervin. Dukin says, what's my take on the FOMC minutes that's getting published in 10 minutes? I mean, listen, if the market is so this is one thing, right? Let's go take a look at the SPY. This is the SPY in the top right. Okay. As we can see, the SPY gapped down today. Okay. And I think that's one catalyst for obviously pushing Bitcoin down. But as we can see here, the SPY is beginning to push a little bit up off support here. Okay. SPY is beginning to push up a little bit off support. So if we do, I tend not to watch that stuff very closely. When I would watch, the market tends to react very volatilely to it, right? And it's a 50-50. You know, it's obviously if it's good news, the market tends to rally. If it's negative news, I'm not sure what they're going to say, except for perhaps another ruling on interest rates. So we already had the rate hike, and the markets have responded positively to it initially. So Conscious Criminal says, I've been hedging my crypto with the 3x inverse NASDAQ ETF for months now. Nice. Oh, so yeah, breaking news. Is it ProShares? So ProShares has announced that they are going to be launching they filed the application to launch an inverse Bitcoin ETF. So individuals will be able to bet against the price of BTC. Just like, you know, ProShares has a lot of inverse ETFs. So B-Flow says, the real question is what happens when Saylor and Musk get heavily underwater? Do they hold? Do they sell on OTC or the market? I mean, who knows? You know, I don't think Elon Musk, I think, I really do think that people like Elon Musk and Michael Saylor so far seem to be in it for the long haul. Michael Saylor's become quite the evangelist, and they're also, Michael Saylor particularly is at the age where he has, he's been a very successful businessman. He's done a lot, and I think that for him, Bitcoin is his opportunity to do something meaningful with his life, to give himself a sense of purpose, a deeper sense of purpose. And I think Elon Musk is likely searching for that as well. You know, Elon Musk to me seems very complicated, but he seems sad, like he's looking for a greater purpose in life. And I'm not sure if it's necessarily crypto that he hopes to find that with, but okay. So I'm going to do something a little crazy here. I just took a little Bitcoin long day trade here. I'm going to see how the market reacts over the next like 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to see if we can't come up here and tag the 55 on the 15 minute here. And just a couple reasons for this, guys. We can see all of this volume come in right here. But the market kind of slows moving down, right? The market was moving very quickly down here. We have kind of this initiation volume, and then it pushes up. And then we have this initiation volume pushing down. But here we have what appears to be oversold volume, in my opinion, right? So we've hit an area of the market where there seems to be a lot of liquidity, and it's becoming a little bit harder for sellers to bid to hit the ask, or excuse me, to hit the bid. So we're going to come in here and see if buyers are going to hit the bid up and see where price goes. It doesn't change what I think about the 6 hour or the daily, but again, I did say that's why I said if you're taking kind of the daily short here, you want to be setting like a tight take profit. We can absolutely see either this or maybe even this before another move down. So we'll see here. Oh, wow. We got a lot of questions in here. Okay. Yusuf Polat asks, what do you think about setting your entry limits to where the stop hunts could happen so we have tighter stop losses and, of course, higher profits? Yeah, so that's a strategy. Bennett from Bitcoin Trading Challenge, friend of mine, he's got... he has some good content on that, basically. You can use tools like High Block Capital. There's also, of course, indicators here on TradingView. Let's pull one up, for example, like... Here we go. Yeah, so you can see here, the thing about this indicator, though, is you have to use it in the areas of interest of the market, for example. So here we are on the Bybit chart where I'm actually trading. And this shows you where the liquidation levels are based on current price, because it's just math. So yeah, so here's, if you're 50x short, this is where your liquidation level is. If you're 100x short, this is where your liquidation level is. And again, same thing for 25x long. So I think that the High Block Capital website actually shows it a little bit better. But that's a strategy. You set your entries where liquidations are likely to occur, and then you take price down the other way. It's just a different, it's just another strategy to trade. Justin, don't blame me if it goes pear-shaped. Yeah. Peckham 08 is dollar cost averaging. Congratulations, man. Money Wednesday for you. Wacky Wednesday. I like it. And I do the same thing. So I do it every week, every Monday. I buy crypto, right? I add to my portfolio every Money Monday. It's been one of the best things I've ever done. Okay, I want to go look at Anchor Protocol's pumping. Anchor Protocol is pumping, guys. Let's take a look at Anchor Protocol here. All right, so let's go look at the Binance chart. All right, so interestingly enough, we got a lot of volume on these buy candles, guys. So we had 3 subsequent time transformation buy signals here on the daily, here, and here. So it's averaged you into a position right here on Anchor Protocol. We had some regular bullish divergence here right before that second buy signal. And time transformation is, Minx gave its buy signal for a kind of reversal trade right here. And we now are crossing the 0 line for a potential trending trade. I like this, actually. I'm not going to lie. We also have Wadatar Explosion giving the go-ahead here. This is looking like a classic PTP trade here, guys. This looks like a breakout. Volume, momentum. Now we've already hit this level of resistance once. Let's see if we get a double top here. But I think for a daily trade, this is about as good as it gets to look in here, boys and gals. All right, so my Bitcoin long's up about $100. Yeah, we're moving, guys. All right, so there's a little bit of a sell. I don't think I'm going to mess with this too much. I'm just going to... Okay. So let's go back and look at that daily chart. It's saying stop loss at about 254. Let's see here. Targets of 332, 364, and 395. All right, this one's going to go on my watch list for daily close. And see if we get a breakout or if this was a retest of resistance here. All right, back to the stream. Is it a trap? Yeah, intraday, I would say this is a short. But sometimes you don't want to bet against cryptos that are pumping, my friend. We'll see here. I really love the way this looks on the daily. I'm not going to lie. 1, 2 tests of resistance right here. Okay. Big buy signal. What's the weekly say here? Really nothing. We just don't have enough data. Four hours looking pretty good here. Looks like a nice 4-hour breakout. We'll see. So if we do reject here, the level to hold is going to be right here on Anchor Protocol. I like Anchor, by the way, too. Right here. All right. So if so I'm going to trade this intraday. Here's what I'm going to do. If we close above, I'm going to long. I'm going to take a breakout long. I will set my stop loss right here. I will also likely be longing this as long as everything looks good here on the daily for a bigger swing trade on the daily time frame. If we do not close above this level within the next two 15-minute candles, I will wait for price to come down here. And then I will buy after we switch back to a green Heikin-Ashi. Okay. Oh, did the music stop? The music stopped. There we go. Yeah, I never heard from you guys. Is the music okay? Let's see here. Alvin Alberto asks, can we talk about indicators? Of course. We love indicators here. JC, is it a trap? Conscious Criminal wants to take a look at Spell. It's my bottomed out lotto ticket. Yeah, of course. So... Oops. Let's look at Spell. Yeah, this will be fine. Well, all right, so we've got our first time transformation buy signal on the weekly. So this is good. We're coming off of that low volume on the current weekly candle, and it is a sell-off candle, but again, this is pretty good. We're getting a nice push off. Far too early to say that we're in any reversal trend here. This so far could just be characterized as a bounce on the weekly time frame. Overall, does look good, but got to be careful. Hold on a second. Gotta keep my eyes on. There we go. Moving just in lockstep. Lockstep with the SPY right here. We'll see what happens. Looks like we are attempting to continue to bid price back up here. Tricky. All right, Spell again. I don't want to say it's bottomed out here on the weekly. Obviously, big move to the downside. I used to hold Spell. I no longer hold Spell. Daily time frame. Just going to apply my strategy here. Right here, we could have taken a long position. Damn, price moved sideways for a long time. But came up here. We got regular bearish divergence playing out here on the daily. Confirmed on this sell side candle. Not a whole lot of volume, but Minx is turning over on the daily in overbought territory. And time transformation is showing us that regular bearish divergence right here. So I don't think Spell looks too hot on the daily here. And again, we've had this nice weekly bounce here. We've had 3 consecutive up candles. So as far as Spell goes for me, I would wait for another buy signal here on the daily. I would like to see price back above not 5. Call it not 5.2. Alvin Alberto says, how do you get that long entry pop-up screen on the chart? Could you be more specific, my friend? Yeah, there's supposed to be music. If you guys can't hear it, I'll have to turn it up. Can you hear it now? Alvin Alberto, any advice on multi-monitor setups for trading? Appreciate anyone's input. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. I wish I had my phone set up. You could see that I actually have two monitors here. I have one monitor here. I have the camera here. And then over here, I have a Samsung Odyssey G9. So it's an ultra wide monitor. And I like the ultra wide monitor. It's fine. It just depends on what you're trying to do. Obviously, if you're not streaming and you don't have to have a camera like right in the middle of your setup, then you can do something a little bit more reasonable. I don't think you need anything massive. For example, just a second here. Yeah, you got to get that dual screen. So I have these are two 23-inch monitors, and they're Scepters. They're like $90 a pop. These two right here, they work really good. I use it for monitoring the stream and for monitoring OBS. And then on this, I have a 27-inch HP. I got it for like $90 at Walmart. I was on sale. This was my main monitor for a long time. So this is what you guys are seeing when we're looking at the charts. But now that I have this Odyssey G9, this is what I do all my work on now. It's a little pricey. It was like $1,500, but it's great. It's fantastic. You know, you can divide the screen into 6s, you can divide the screen into 3s, you can divide the screen into 2s, and you could flip back and forth with the flick of a button. If I weren't streaming and if I could just set it up the most optimal way I could think of for trading, it would likely be the G9 right here, and then either 3 23-inch monitors or maybe just another large one at the top, right? And the large one at the top, I would want to have split into like 6 screens, so you could monitor the assets that you're interested in. And then you could have on your G9, you could have maybe your Discord, your trading application, so like Trading View, and then over here you'd actually have your terminal for trading, like Bybit. That's what I would recommend. You just got to do what's comfortable with you, man. It's going to cost a few $100 to kind of get set up, but was quite the doji, wasn't it, huh? Psych. Okay, so we did not close that bullish doji, so we're just gonna wait. See what price does right here. And as far as Bitcoin goes here, so anchors on the watch list. let's just wanted to talk about, yesterday we were talking about Near protocol. Near protocol is looking like a big weekly double top here, right? Swing failure pattern. So we've got our price targets marked out here for the near short, waiting for a bearish weekly close. And we also talked about RUNE. Okay. We mapped this out yesterday. Again, rejection from resistance. Here's our stop losses on RUNE and take profit targets on RUNE. Alvin said, I had a 49-inch Dell when my apartment burnt down a few months ago. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Back in 2020, I had a house burned down as well. I want to know if it's better to get a 4-monitor setup. I don't know. It's kind of a meme. It's kind of a meme in crypto trading that the moment that you get rid of 2 monitors, like your hit rate goes up. You just want to have an efficient workflow, right? So if you have a 4-monitor setup, what you want to make sure that you don't do is that you just don't get so much data in front of you that it's overwhelming and not helping. You know, too much data simultaneously. Like, humans are terrible at multitasking, right? You know, we think that we're good at multitasking, but we are god awful at it. So in general, I like the G9 because at my station, when I turn to look at the G9, I have to turn to see these 3 monitors. And when I'm here, I can just see these 3 monitors and I can focus on the charting one, but I can just with a glance view the stream and OBS, which is good for me as a streamer. I will say that I like having at least 3 things that I can see. And the G9 is nice because I can go from 3 to 2. So if I'm just trading, I can just have charting and Bybit open. Normally I will have Discord, Bybit, and TradingView open. So that's helpful. I don't think you need 4 monitors for that. But it certainly looks cool. And, you know, you try it out. You know what I mean? You could sell those monitors on Craigslist. They're pretty easy to get rid of if you don't like it. But I would definitely, what I would say is I would definitely start, if you want to go down that route, go cheap. So in Synopsis, I don't use 4 monitors. I actually use 5, 6 technically, but I really only use 3. And technically that's only 1. It's just the ultra wide monitor. So the real question is L-shaped desk or standing desk? Why not an L-shaped standing desk? So I have an L-shaped desk. So this is my L-shaped desk. I also have a standing desk over there in the I guess it was a closet, but I've turned it into a not closet, where I will go and do programming. I do like to stand up when I program. But I don't know, there's all this like sitting is so terrible for you. You know, I'm a pretty active guy. I do sit here for quite a few hours every day, but you know, I take breaks to walk the dog and stretch, and you know, I work out every day. So I think a circular desk would kill me, to be honest with you. I think that would be way too much. Like if I had stuff over here too, I just feel like I was trapped. I like having my little escape route over here. From The Office and also Parks and Rec. You remember? I think it was, what's his face who had that circular desk in Parks and Rec? Keep losing the music, guys. Ron Swanson. I like the chat activity, guys. Thank you so much. We've got over 100 messages today with Restream chat, so I appreciate that. Okay, so we've got a couple requests, and could we bring up the Ethereum chart 4-hour? That is the lowest RSI since January 2nd, 2022. Higher high in price, lower RSI. All right, so we want to look at Ethereum. 4-hour chart, and you want to look at the RSI. So you are saying Irvin Skidmore says a 15-inch laptop and a Magic 8 Ball is all you need. 4-hour lowest RSI since January 22nd, 2022. Right there. So typically this would be called hidden bullish divergence, where you have a higher low in price, but you want a lower low on the oscillators if that happens. So we haven't gotten there yet. We did reach a level of 15.86 back here on January the 22nd. And also, here's the thing with our RSI and indicators, right? I don't want to discount this as a potential trading signal, especially if you're building a strategy around it. I want to encourage you to do that. However, you have to understand how momentum oscillators work. Momentum oscillators work based on a time series. So right here, we can see that the RSI length is only 14 bars. That's only 14 4-hour bars. That's what it has to use to develop its, that's what it uses in its algorithm to determine what level prints on the RSI, right? It's a series of bars, right? So if you have a series of bars that are doing something that are moving in a certain way, like we can see here that there's not much movement, there's just consolidation, there's distribution here. And then all of a sudden you get a huge move like this, your RSI is going to get oversold very quickly. When you want to pay attention to RSI being oversold, it's usually after the market has already been moving down for quite a while. Because yeah, so we can see here that when RSI does get oversold, we do get little bounces, but those are harder to trade. And we can see here that after the market's been moving down for quite a while, and then we have a huge plunge, and then we go oversold, then the market actually does something different here. So I'm always really hesitant. You know, I talk about this actually. I've talked about this a lot on stream. I think I have a video about this, the proper way to interpret overbought and oversold signals. You know, if Bitcoin, so I'll show you guys some good examples of this. And actually, I really want to, this is important to me because this has actually cost me money in my own personal trading before I stopped making this mistake. So let's go look at, let's use the RSI. And what I want to do is I want to find a period in time where yeah, this is a pretty good period right here. So right here, Bitcoin's a little bit better looking here, to be honest with you, but this will work just fine. As we can see, RSI does get oversold here and it pulls back, but it doesn't indicate that this is the top of the market. RSI again goes oversold here and it does pull back, but it doesn't indicate the top of the market. The market does continue to move up. So I think being a trend following trader here and just letting this larger move play out rather than jumping at every bit and bob of the RSI is a good way to do this, because often what will happen is especially if price is moving. Yeah, this is a really good example right here. Here's a good one. Right, so we can see here that price has been moving sideways for quite a while, and then we get a big move, and the RSI immediately goes oversold, right? But the market just continues to move up. And that's because the RSI is basing its current value off of what has happened in the recent past. So you always have to take the recent past into account. Here's a good example. You see the market is mostly moving sideways, and then we start trending up very strongly, and RSI remains overbought for this whole period. And there's a lot of traders who think that if something's overbought, it's going to turn around. You never trade a signal by itself. You need to see multiple things occurring. So for example, going back to this example, it's fine for RSI to be oversold or overbought, but you want to look for failure in the movement, right? Whether that was, let's say, so yeah, if you would have just waited while RSI was overbought, if you just waited for that cross under, or if you waited for like the first red Heikinashi bar, then you would have made a whole lot more money than selling over here. Excuse me. %, JC, I agree. I want 4 monitor display port daisy chained. Each monitor is $229. That's not a bad. I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with multiple monitor setups, man. They're cool, dude. JC's got a good point here. The number of monitors is secondary. Back in the day, market wizards did chart technical analysis only with pencil and paper. Focus on your trading consistency first. Yeah. Do I run multiple PCs as well? No, I just have my main PC here. I stream on it, and I also trade on it. I've got a couple laptops that I use as well. Have I invested in an APC battery backup for my rig? I have not. I am easy to take me down. Easy to take me down. All right, guys. It is 12:30, guys. And we've covered quite a bit. So let's hop back over to BTC and just give a quick update before we bounce out here. All right. So BTC continuing to trend down. I still got my cheeky little long position put on here. We can see that the market did not completely turn around here. I am going to wait for that pullback on ANC, and I am going to be looking at ANC for a potential long entry at daily close. We talked about that just a few moments ago. Overall, I don't want to rehash everything that I just talked about. I talked about BTC for quite a long time here. So just go back and rewatch the stream. I talked about Bitcoin for about a half hour. And you guys can see all that. Overall, rest of the market continuing to move down. Again, Anchor, the only thing that is Anchor, Zilliqua, and Leo are the only things that are moving contrarian here, as well as USD Neutrino looking to reestablish its peg. So I do see a trading opportunity in Anchor Protocol. I did not take a look at Zill or Leo. They're not really coins that I trade too much, but I do utilize Anchor Protocol, so I will be taking a closer look at that come daily close. All right. Also, RUNE and Near setting up for big weekly shorts here. So keep that in mind, guys. Yusuf says multiple monitors doesn't get you better trades. Better trades get you the money for multiple monitors. There you go, man. That's a good point. All right. With that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me for another exciting episode of the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you for all the questions. Great chat activity today. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to answer your questions. I am here to try to help as much as possible. Now, as we do at the end of every show, if you guys have not joined the Discord yet, I highly recommend that you do that. It's a great place to learn, connect with other traders, and grow as an individual. Discord.krakencryptocurrency.com. Links will be down in the description below. If you guys would like to support the stream and if you guys enjoy the content, you can do that in the following manners. You guys can smash the like button if you're watching on YouTube, retweet this video stream if you're watching on Twitter, like the post on Facebook. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys have not already, for daily updates. And if you're watching on Twitch and D Live, if you're hardcore streamers, a follow or a sub is always appreciated. We do appreciate that community as well. If you guys would like to support the stream, if you guys would like to trade on the exchange that we trade on, and you guys are not already trading on an exchange that you like, you guys can sign up for Bybit with our affiliate link down in the description. It does support the stream. It is an affiliate link, but it would be appreciated. And it does, again, as I say, support the stream. Other than that, if you guys would like to learn how we trade, utilize our premium suite of indicators, have access to our educational content that I've taken fucking years of my life creating, as well as receive access to our buy and sell alerts. But again, that is not the main point of the group. The main point of the group is not to be a signal group. It is to be an educational group. You guys can sign up or see all that we offer at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Links, as always, are in the description below. We will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 1 p.m. on the Eastern Seaboards, for another episode of the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. I want you guys to trade safely, and until tomorrow, be good to each other.